Brotato, an arena roguelike with glowing reviews on Steam. It is a game where you run around as a potato, slaying alien baddies for the precious materials to level up and buy goods in the shop. It really can be quite unforgiving. Or is it? What if I told you you can make a potato so strong that you literally didn't need to move? This potato does take a couple of waves to set up, but once it is, oh boy is it strong. We are talking about Loud. Loud is kind of like that one friend of yours that had one too many drinks and now the whole bar is after him. They do 30% extra damage to enemies at the cost of drawing in 50% more of them. That, however, is going to work to our benefit. I'll get to that in a moment. For starters, we're going to split this run into two phases. Phase 1 is be aggressive. And now that we're in the shop, we're going to lock any non-weapon items we might like because we are guaranteed at least 2 weapons to show up in the first 2 waves. And we're looking for one very specific weapon. And that weapon is the Ghost Axe. This weapon increases overall damage percentage every time you kill a certain amount of aliens per round. The higher the tier, the less enemies required to proc it. And since we're playing as Loud, there's going to be a lot of enemies in later rounds. Now that we passed the first couple of waves, we'll start picking up some of those non-weapon items from the shop. And at the beginning of the game, we're going to heavily focus on the luck stat. Luck essentially increases the chance of getting loot boxes from trees and gets you better items earlier in the shop. So items like this shady potion giving us 20 luck is going to go a long way in this build. Just wait until you see what T4 items we grab way before they should be available in the shop. So now that we've made it to wave 8, you can see that the hordes of aliens are getting pretty large. We're doing okay damage. We're one-shotting the smaller units, but the big boys aren't going down so fast. But that'll all change soon enough. I don't know about you, but wave 8 usually tends to set apart my good runs from my bad ones. So after that very scary wave, we're going to pick up as much armor as we can. The metal will be very useful in bolstering our defenses. Surprisingly, right after nearly losing the run, wave 9 is actually when we start to see the build really come together. As you can see here, we're basically running right through the hordes of aliens coming out unscathed. This is mainly due to our damage now being at 111%. So we kill most of the aliens before they reach us, but the ones that do get through, we have a 42% chance to dodge. While those are good stats, it's far from our final form. I should probably also mention that we chose to do this build on Danger 2. It's not just to show off how strong this build is on higher difficulties, but when on Danger 2, some waves will have bonus hordes of enemies. So this just adds to our Ghost Axe total kills. Let's just see a quick speed run of how this supposedly increases the difficulty. There you have it. Hordes down with barely a scratch. So, after another couple of rounds, I'm feeling pretty confident that our potato friend here can move on to phase 2. Be passive. This is by no means necessary, but for the theme of the channel, we're going to play as passively as possible. By just not playing. This is where things really start to fall into place. T4 items are starting to drop like this jetpack. It's alright, but this. The Civitas? Whatever, this relic is where this build really shines. Or any build, really. 100% chance to instantly attract materials when it's dropped. This, my friend, is going to make this run that much easier. You know, in the end of wave 13, while we were standing there, and there was a bunch of mats laying on the wayside, and we were left empty-handed. Well, now all those juicy mats are going to be pulled in automatically, giving us more money for items in the shop, while simultaneously giving us extra XP. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There are far more T4 items that drastically change this potato's form. Starting with this lucky coin. Since we've been boosting our crit chance here and there, the lucky coin is going to give us a ridiculous amount of luck. The next couple of waves go by pretty smoothly, and we pick up a couple of extra items here and there, but nothing too crazy for the build. And then we find this goodie right here, right before the main boss. The Retrimation's Hoodie. While not the most overpowered item we're going to find, that's just right around the corner, it does turn our ghost axes into spinning propellers of death. This, however, this is the item that's absolutely going to break this build. I mean, it's already pretty broken, but this. Grind's Magical Leaf, plus 3 max HP, plus 1 regen, and 1 lifesteal all at the end of the wave. Basically, the longer we survive, the harder it is for Beefy Potato to get killed. The time has come. Wave 20, the big boss wave. Usually I would continue staying passive, but that never went well for me in the past. We will, however, completely obliterate the boss in 15 seconds. So those of you that don't have the achievement yet, Cloud's got your back. Apart from getting some pretty good loot from the boss and another Grind's Magical Leaf from wave 21, nothing crazy happens over the next few waves. Except for stand, kill, rinse, repeat. Once we got to wave 30, 3 bosses spawned and we had to go back to the phase 1 strategy temporarily, but we still managed to clear them. Wave 37 is where our passive-aggressive run finally comes to an end. We could have probably continued the run and started running around again. However, I felt it was more honorable to let our little potato friend go while standing still.